Sasha?
What is it? Another bunny?
No, this is more of a super scary flaming-eyed demon kind of deal.
Oh.
This is Fuck the With Man Jackson. You're watching WGS-TV. Yeah!
Hello everyone, welcome to another installment of WGS-TV right here on YouTube.com/WrestleGamer and ZFXTV. I'm the WrestleGamer. Don't be really Boudreaux. Got a panel of people to introduce you to. First up, he is back here with us on WGS-TV. He is the studly man known as Ashley. Ashley, how you doing?
I'm doing not too bad. I'm still feeling kind of exhausted by this week's Raw because it was so amazing.
He is the host of Hardcore Wrestling Radio, which can be heard exclusively on Spreaker.com/HWR Media. He is the Illuminous One, the Shining Star, Rick Star. Rick, how you shining?
I'm hanging in there, Billy, and thanks for having me.
He is our resident paranormal investigator, the former Dixie Carter queef chaser, the SOB known as Andy. Andy, how you doing?
I'm doing fine. How are you?
I'm doing just fine. Our resident music mogul is here from YouTube.com/LanceMossTV. He is the incomparable Lance Moss. Lance, how you doing?
I'm doing good. Thanks for having me.
He's the Bay Area MVP, known as Will. Will, how you doing?
After Raw, I kind of want a taco.
Well,
Sorry, the Raw I was referring to was actually from 2006. My bad.
Well, Ashley looks at that Raw. We're going to talk about this Raw from May 27th, 2013, and we open up with John Cena's response to Ryback's challenge of an ambulance match, and we get Cena kind of stepping it up a bit into the 3 Stages of Hell match, which I believe, if I'm not mistaken, hasn't been seen in the WWE since around 2004. I could be wrong, but that was my best judgment. But John Cena's proposing is the first stage of Hell, or WWPG would be that place, would be the lumberjack match. Stage 2 would be a tables match, and then stage 3, if needed, which will be needed, we'll talk more about that on a future video, would be the ambulance match. But I think that was actually a nice way to bring it back on, to say the least. I thought that was a good way to open up Monday Night Raw, and then we get Ryback, who kind of confirms it to be a 3 Stages of Hell match, and then after that we get Paul Heyman coming in and basically now making another main event, I guess, to plug Curtis Axel even more. And now we have a main event on this week's Monday Night Raw of John Cena and Curtis Axel. So they're doing a lot of heavy pushing and promoting for Curtis Axel, wouldn't you say, Rick?
Yeah, they're really pushing him. I think that's what they have to do if they really want to get him up to that level with the way they did. That's the only way they're gonna have to do it, especially if they're gonna have Paul Heyman, a guy the likes of Paul Heyman. So.
Well, I'm going to go ahead and give this opening segment a 4 out of 5. Now, Ashley, up first, we had, for the 3rd time in a row, the rubber match, as you were referring to earlier tonight. Alberto Del Rio and Big E Lagston. And one thing we did really notice in this match, there was actually, well, I don't want to use the terminology, but I'm going to go ahead and say it. There was a cock-up by AJ in the match, which would kind of lead to something happening between Big E Lagston and AJ Lee, wouldn't you think?
I'd like a cock-up with AJ Lee.
I don't know why I said that.
Well, let's try and get as many dick references in the next 4 seconds. It's really, well, she did it to try and assist Big E Lagston by pulling him off, pulling the turnbuckle off.
Yanking him off.
The referee saw it and decided he needed to put the sheath back on the turnbuckle joint. And during this time, Del Rio puts a cross-arm breaker on Langston. Langston powers out of it because that's what he do in the absence of Mark Henry. Whatever happened to him? Where's he gone? But then Del Rio pushed.
He went home.
Yeah.
Del Rio pushed Langston into the turnbuckle, but apparently because the referee never bothered to cover the thing back up properly, so he actually went into the turnbuckle joint itself rather than the padding, and wins via roll up. And Big E Langston was pretty pissed with AJ, and AJ was trying to explain, I blame the referee. He should have been able to tie that in time.
That doesn't
It's
sound
like,
right,
oh
though.
my god, there's a submission.
That doesn't sound right. Roll up and joint in one sentence.
Oh, God. Ashley, your score in the match?
I'll say 3.5 out of 5. And now I puff pass to somebody else.
Puff, puff, give.
Well, speaking of, interesting terminology, because, Rick, up next we have the United States title on the line. Dean Ambrose defending against Kofi Kingston. Now, despite there a little bit of botchiness in this match, and unlike on Friday Night SmackDown, when we actually had run-in interference by Seth Rollins and Roman Reigns, WWE actually gave Dean Ambrose and Kofi Kingston an opportunity to actually shine in this match. And, you know, and in my personal opinion, Rick, they did just that, despite being one botch in this match. That kind of shows you what kind of workers Dean Ambrose and Kofi Kingston are, to have that ability to work around that botch, wouldn't you say, Rick?
You know what? It's the point is why. The fact that they had to do it in 3 matches. Why did they have to take them 3 matches to shine? They had that match at SmackDown, and it made no point. There was no point to that match. So why couldn't they do that at SmackDown? It just they do it all the time, and this is what infuriates me about the WWE. Andy, would you agree to me?
Yeah, I mean, they're trying to build Curtis Axel and they're trying to build Dean Ambrose at the same time, and it never works. One of them's going to get dropped.
Well, not even like that, but I mean, they're so afraid to put other people over, one person over the other, because they think that if they do it, it's going to make somebody else overshine someone. And there are other matches that I can go through the rest of the night improving my point.
The only thing is, though, you see people like Kofi Kingston winning a championship belt, and then 3 weeks later he's fighting a nobody. I mean, we know Dean Ambrose, he's not a nobody, he's been in the indies for years, but a nobody comes in and kicks his arse. Says a lot for the title belt. That's how I look at it, anyway.
Yeah, the quality of the match was excellent. There was nothing wrong with this match. I even like the fact that Dean Ambrose won cleanly with that rolling... we have yet to figure out the name of this move. I just call it a rolling DDT. So, if I'd have to give it a quality match, 4 out of 5.
Well, immediately following this match, Andy, the tag team titles were on the line. Seth Rollins and Roman Reigns defending against Team Hell No. And there's one thing I did make mention to Ashley during this match. I see something special in Dean Ambrose. I see something special in Seth Rollins. Roman Reigns, to me, is just there. He doesn't really have a presence in the wrestling ring. He's just a guy who's on TV. He really, honestly, to me, Andy, he really hasn't shown me anything that he really deserves to be in the WWE, as far as I'm concerned.
Apart from Dean Ambrose, I haven't seen anybody in S.H.I.E.L.D. that deserves to be in the ring in the first place. And how many times are we going to see the S.H.I.E.L.D. against Team Hell No? Mind you, what other tag teams have they got fight against?
Well, let's just look at what they did again, the past couple of weeks. It's just over and over and over again.
How many times can you see how many times can you see the same match before you get bored? I'm bored with it already. Totally bored with it.
Well, the finish of the match came with Daniel Bryan on the ring apron. He attempts to do a running dive, and Roman Reigns catches him into a spear, and then Seth Rollins capitalizes on Kane with the springboard knee to the side of the head. Kane gets pinned 1, 2, 3 yet again, and the Shield retains. Andy, what do you think with the amount of times they have Team Hell No has lost? Do you think that could be signifying that they're breaking up Team Hell No?
I hope they do break them up, because they're just making both of them look now idiots.
Yeah, now, honestly, look at the end of the way that match ended. How many times have you seen when two guys are fighting on the outside that has nothing to do with the action on the inside, the referee be completely distracted with the guys fighting with the guys on the outside? Never. Not once. Now all of a sudden the referee's paying attention to the guys on the outside of the ring that was just distracting Kane to let him capitalize. It's like, Jesus Christ. You knew the match was coming to an end.
Yeah, it's pretty much like the action replay on the pay-per-view last week.
Yeah, it's like, come on. It's so obvious.
Well, Andy, your score on the tag match?
2.
Yeah, with the ending alone, the sad thing that stuck is, again, this was an excellent match up until that thing. It just killed it.
I mean, there's 2 top wrestlers there. There's Kane and there's Daniel Bryan. And then we've got Shield, who are nobodies. But the match
hold on. I disagree with you. Rollins has skill. He has some excellent skill.
The match was just... I don't know. It was a lower card filling match. No one wants to see the match anymore. We've seen it 4 times, 5 times maybe. Who cares?
Well, in all honesty, what would you rather see? The Shield versus Team Hell No, or the Shield versus Epico and Primo? Or
I'd rather see Michael Cole and Vince McMahon, to be honest, than the Shield.
Okay. On that note, let's go to the next match there, Lance. We saw Fandango taking on Wade Barrett. Now, Miz was going to have a role, but it had to be decided by the fans on the WWE app, and something that both me and Ashley alluded to, that the voting results was kind of dodgy, in my personal opinion, or in his opinion as well. You have 3 options to choose from. You could be either a guest ring announcer, a guest commentator, or a guest referee. And the way the results were, 85% for the referee, I believe it was 10% for commentator, and 5% for the guest ring announcer. And so the way that looked to me, Lance, those numbers are just kind of dodgy, like WWE just fudged those up.
Yeah, I have always felt, most of the time for most of the time they've been doing those whole fan voted polls, those have been more rigged than, I don't know. Some people claim some people say the Florida 2000 election was. Anyway, then we get to the match where basically Wade pushed Miz, and then Wade Barrett ate a skull crushing finale. Then Fandango pinned him. Then Fandango got kicked in the head, and apparently Summer Rain had her first win on Raw.
Your score on the match?
3 out of 5. I've seen a lot worse.
Well, up next, this next match was set up on the WWE app. It was backstage. Kaitlyn and Natalya were kind of getting set for a party to celebrate Natalya's birthday. 3MB decided to kind of crash it. They had a cake already there for Natalya, and 3MB decided that since they weren't invited, they were kind of having a little bit of cake, and they threw it in the face of Hornswoggle. So they got this next 6-man tag set up, and for the life of me, I wish they never did it, but apparently they probably just needed a filler time for this. That was tons of funk and a great Khali taking on 3MB, and it just serves the purpose of jobber teams in the WWE. Well, that no matter what you do or when you see them, you always see 3MB. They're kind of like the new job squad of this era of the WWE.
And now I'm hearing things. Great.
Well.
Oh no, you were cut out through your Skype. But I can pretty guess what you're saying here. I'm gonna go on a limb and say, yes, this was a filler time match. I mean, come on. 3MB ain't going nowhere that fast. I mean, I hope the talent cuts come as fast as possible, because all 3 of them suck. But this match, I'm just going to give it a quick rating and say about a 2.3 and a piss break. That's all I can think about this match. It was a boredom straight put a shotgun to my head type of match. So my ratings went 2.3 out of 5.
On this next segment of Monday Night Raw, I'm going to toss it over to the Studley man, Ashley, because I know he's got a lot to say about what was said in this segment. That's the highlight reel, which featured Paul Heyman as its guest. And Ashley, there were a lot of things said in this promo, including a match that was made involving Chris Jericho and a certain returning WWE superstar. And I know you got a little bit to say about that. Go ahead and talk about what happened in this promo.
Yeah, so it started off with Heyman coming out and Jericho saying, you may have loads of names like Walrus and Genius and stuff like that. You always seem to find the right talent, and Heyman says how he nurtured them, and says an example is Chris Jericho, which is true, because if it wasn't for his time in Japan and then picked up by ECW, you wouldn't have seen him in WCW and then WWE and then Fozzy and God knows what. So he was a part of it. Then Chris talks about his other clients other than Axel, and he brings up about Brock Lesnar, and then he goes, no, not him. The other one we haven't seen in a while, CM Punk. The clip that they show as part of the highlight reel, apparently not on the Geritron 9000 because it must be faulty or something. I don't know what's going on there. They have when CM Punk walked out the night after WrestleMania and didn't say anything. He hasn't been seen since, and Heyman kind of tries and flips it and says, "Oh, okay." He deserves to not be in respect and have some time off because he was champion for 400 and something days. And then Jericho takes kind of umbrage by basically saying, "Well, if he isn't here, how can he say he's the best in the world?" So it seems like, hang on, are we angling towards back to WrestleMania 28? Except the other way around, when Punk's now heel and Jericho's face. And then he basically says, he says Punk's watching at home apparently in Chicago. And calls Jericho out, or Jericho calls him out and basically says, okay, I want a match with Punk at Payback. It's in his hometown. He's got no excuse because it's just nearby from where he lives. I want it, and Heyman basically says, my client, on behalf of my client, I accept. But I'm just wondering whether this is going to resolve in CM Punk's going like, I'm not your client anymore. Or something like that. I don't know. But considering how good, even though the storyline with Jericho's rise as a heel, and then really nothing becoming of it, they still had two bloody good matches at WrestleMania Extreme Rules. And if we have to have another one again, I'm all for it personally. So, and the way this promo was executed was very well, so I'll give it a 4.5 out of 5. Although it needed more cowbell.
The Bella Twins taking on Kaitlyn and Natalya. My only thing I can say about this is why can't their looks, their gorgeous hot looks, complement their in-ring ability? I've said it for months and months and months. WWE Divas should study the TNA knockouts and notice the fact that not only they have gorgeous bodies, gorgeous looks, but they actually have in-ring ability and in-ring talent. Why in the world can't they have that in-ring ability? Kaitlyn has some semblance of it. The Bella Twins, I want to say, have a smidge of it, and that's being generous. And Natalya is probably the only true women's wrestler that actually belongs inside a wrestling ring. Other than that, I really don't have anything nice to say about it. 2 out of 5 at best. I know.
Especially, where was the octopus stretch? Where's my damn AJ octopus stretch? Damn it!
Oh, if AJ was involved in the match, you probably would have had it. But Rick, up next we had a tag team match. We had Team Rhodes Scholars taking on Randy Orton and Sheamus. And would you consider this tag team match to be a filler match, or would you say it was a genuine match?
It appeared to be an alright match. It was kind kind of middle of the way road, to be honest with you. I think Damien Sandow was really pretty much the star of the match for me. That's all I really have to say about it. I guess I'd have to give it, I guess maybe 2.5 out of 5.
Hey, where'd he go?
Yeah, more than likely, possibly a following up. Possibly a Sheamus versus Damien Sandow storyline, considering what we saw on Friday Night SmackDown with that ridiculous Gordian knot challenge, which I really still don't understand the point of even using that segment. It was more ridiculous than the tug of war segment they had between Mark Henry and Sheamus. I mean, what was the freaking point of that? I mean, I really don't know what to say. WWE Creative is really losing their touch with reality.
Well, I think what they're trying to do is they're trying to start the feud. This match obviously was an attempt to, push that feud further. What they should have done was just a one-on-one match. Considering they, had the thing with SmackDown, they just should have done a match tonight. But the thing with SmackDown, again, even WWE for that matter, is they just don't want to do it. They always have to push it off because they know they're going to have that match at Payback. And that's probably the ultimate idea.
More than likely. Well, let's turn to the main event, Andy, which saw Curtis Axel for the second week in a row being pushed in a main event on Monday Night Raw, but this week against John Cena. My first question to you, Andy, is the fact that we got a repackaged Michael McGillicuddy again for the second week in a row being pushed in the main event. Do you find that so far, in these short 2 weeks that we've seen Curtis Axel, that the gimmick is starting to get over, or do you think it still needs a little bit more time for it to kind of sink in with WWE fans about him being repackaged?
I just think he needs to change his look, because he just looks the same as every other wrestler that's in the locker room. He hasn't got any individuality about him at all. Nothing.
Lance, let me ask you this question. Now, we all saw the ending of the match, John Cena losing by countout, but it was because of the fact that we had an ambulance come in. So this match kind of served two purposes if you look at it. So far we've seen, would you say we've seen so far a good build for John Cena and Ryback for the 3 stages of Hell match?
Better than their Extreme Rules build, I'll say that. Yeah, I would.
The fact that so far we've seen Curtis Axel being put over on Triple H and John Cena. I want to allude something. I'll kind of make mention of something that I was discussing with the Studley man Ashley a few days ago about Curtis Axel. With the way they're playing this gimmick right now, would you consider him to be I don't know how to say it, but I'm going to go ahead and use what Ashley said. The new legend killer of the WWE?
Not even close. So he got 2 main events, big deal. And they were against Triple H and Cena, big deal. I see superstars.
Next week it's the Ultimate Warrior.
Oh, God.
Nah, but in all fair respect, I don't think 2 main event matches has me convinced at all. I mean, characters good, everything else is blended in, but 2 main event matches, get back to me when he does something a lot better. I'm just not buying it as of this moment. Sorry.
Rick, if they bring Triple H back, like I believe what they might be doing on Monday Night Raw next week, I said I might think they're bringing him off because I know that you're still firm in your belief that they used the Curtis Axel storyline last week to write him off. If they do bring him back next week, do you foresee a matchup between Triple H and Curtis Axel taking place at Payback?
Well, I could possibly see that not happening at Payback. I still think this is probably going to be his last, hurrah for a while, because that's the ultimate story, the ultimate thing. Because, and I didn't, for the record, I didn't say it was because of Curtis Axel. This is because of what happened with Brock Lesnar.
Don't you think they try and push him before he can walk?
Well, I think is what happened. They just used the fact, that I agree with what you're saying, Andy. They're putting him in these high matches, but not giving him the win. Look what happened tonight at Raw. Same situation. He won by countout because Ryback beat the shit out of him way in the back. Now, I know I'm jumping the gun here.
2 weeks in a row, we didn't get a clean win. We didn't get a pin on Monday Night Raw. SmackDown, I think, would probably be a different story since it was Sin Cara, of all people. And
yeah, but who's Sin Cara beaten? Nobody. So the only person he can be clean is jobbers. And the only people he can't be clean are superstars. What's that say? Now, the thing that stinks about it is the guy does have some talent. He's got a nasty drop kick. He's got some good ring skills. But the WWE would not let him beat John Cena in the ring with a perfect plex. Why not? Why not let him get that 1, 2, 3 and just in a non-title match?
I believe that would be a huge honor and a tribute to the legacy of the Hennig family in wrestling. You know, for one thing, I want to say he pulled it off beautifully in the ring. But I'm going to call John Cena out on one thing for the fact that he no-sold the Hennig neck snap. You know, the one where they snap-mirrored John Cena over in the sitting position, and we've seen the Hennig flip over into the neck snap. And Cena just sat there with no reaction, no movement whatsoever, and just freaking no-sold it. I got to call Cena out on that one for doing a no-sell on that. I think that's just a flat-out insult. I don't know if he meant to do it or not, but it just looked really, really bad in my opinion.
It looked bad on both ends because I don't think he delivered it himself that great either.
Well,
So.
he probably hasn't done it that very often in his career, so I think they were trying to maybe implement that as part of his new gimmick. So they probably need to work on it more. But I will say this: seeing him for the first time pull off the fisherman suplex, the Hennig plex, or the perfect plex, no matter how you want to put the spin on it, on whatever name, I think he still did that one actually really, really good.
Not doing Sasha 9's advanced training that he does in his
secret
underground lab.
Rick, your score on the main event?
Main event, with the exception of the shitty ending, I'll give it a 3.5 out of 5.
Well, nice knowing.
Overall score on Monday Night Raw this week is going to get a 3.5 out of 5. The opening with John Cena changing the match from Payback to 3 Stages of Hell actually was a very decent opening. And then we got a promo from Curtis Axel, which really set up the main event. Alberto Del Rio defeating Big E Lagston. I see something happening. A little bit of dissension in the ranks in the Dolph Ziggler camp. Dean Ambrose defeating Kofi Kingston. Probably one of the bright moments of Monday Night Raw. The Shield and Team Hell No. Very decent match. Possibility of Team Hell No breaking up in the making. Fandango defeating Wade Barrett with The Miz as guest referee. WWE, do a better job on your poll results on the WWF, for God's sakes. I mean, 85%. Personally, I would have liked to have heard Miz as a guest commentator. That's what I voted for. But 85% on guest referee? Give me a freaking break. Even Will can tell you those results were fudged up. Tons of Funk and the Great Khali defeating 3MB. I want to say this. It was Natalya's birthday. You know, we're going to say it out of the way. Happy birthday to Natalya. But Great Khali singing happy birthday on the microphone, I don't know. The highlight reel with Paul Heyman, probably one of the best segments of the night on Monday Night Raw, with the talk of bringing CM Punk back at WWE Payback for a matchup against Chris Jericho, of all people. That will probably be one of the biggest epic matches of WWE Payback, in my opinion. So far, the card is a lot better than WWE Extreme Rules. It might be worth buying, honestly, in my opinion, just for that match right there. Bella Twins defeating Kaitlyn and Natalya. Okay, and like I already said before, WWE Divas should study the TNA knockouts on learning how to fucking wrestle! Randy Orton and Sheamus defeating Team Rhodes Scholars.
Damn.
I think it was more of a build to use for Sheamus and Damian Sandow, in my personal opinion, because they probably really want to start something with those two. I think Cody Rhodes and Randy Orton were just along there for the ride. Curtis Axel defeating John Cena by countout. 2 purposes. One, to put over Curtis Axel to try to push the gimmick even more, and then do a build for John Cena and Ryback in 3 Stages of Hell. I believe they did accomplish that, and apparently they probably want to be Ryback to be the new Mike Awesome from WCW. Well, how many of you guys remember that little gimmick he did after he was the 70s guy and the fat chick Thrilla? Shut up, Andy. 3.5 out of 5 on Monday Night Raw. I want to start with the Studley Man, Ashley. Ashley, your overall score and thoughts on Monday Night Raw this week.
3.5. Needed more octopus stretch from AJ and cowbell, but there's some the fact that if it was just an ambulance match, the main event for Payback would have been. I really don't want to see this. Now that you've got the 3 Stages of Hell, I mean, it was one in 2000 with 2001, sorry, Triple H in Austin, and 2004 was Triple H and Michaels. And then the third one was Triple H and Orton. From one of the shows, I can't remember which, but it was in 2008. So the fact that we haven't seen this for 5 years, it's a bit fresh. The fact that you're going to have multiple stipulation matches together. Hopefully there'll be... What I just hope is somebody interferes and both people get taken off in the same ambulance. But... Punk
No
Jericho,
WWE, I wouldn't put it past them.
Punk Jericho, definitely, it would be something that I'd like to see again, just because of how good it was last year, 15 months ago, whatever it was one of the strongest matches on the card then. And yeah, that's, I mean, it kind of made the Rock Cena look. But not this year's WrestleMania, I mean 28. But yeah, overall, decent show. It's building towards Payback. I'm still looking for Mel Gibson.
Well, let's go over to the Shining Star, Rick Starr, and get his overall score and thoughts on Monday Night Raw this week.
Overall, I have to give it a 3. There were some really good matches that I enjoyed. Unfortunately, it was just the way they ended some of the matches that really pissed me off. The rematch on Hell No and the Shield. It was just too. It was too scripted. You could just see it coming a mile away how it was going to end, and that just really sucked because I was really enjoying that match from start to I can't say finish, but you get the point. The Kofi Kingston Dean Ambrose match. Why? You know, they had it on SmackDown, so what was the point? You know? As far as the main event,
So what are we gonna learn? Bending spoons,
Curtis Axel, you know what?
stuff?
Until Payback, he's on trial.
All right, well, let's quack over to the UK with the SOB, Andy. Andy, your overall score and thoughts.
Yeah, I'd agree with Rick. Give it probably no more than a 3. And if this is the best that wrestling's got to offer, then TNA must be pissing their pants watching this pile of shite.
I love the fact you use the British enunciation of the word too. Well, let's go over to Lance Moss. Lance, your overall score and thoughts.
Well, it's an alright show, but I also saw something that I could see some promise in. That, personally, I think we need some more factions that they take seriously, so I'm kind of excited to see what they do with the Wyatt family coming in. And honestly, Curtis Axel, he's on trial for me until basically he actually pins somebody.
Other than Sin Cara.
Yeah.
Considering we haven't seen him in a while, perhaps he's on trial for murdering CM Punk.
Oh God. Now, Ashley, what fans are what Lance is referring to in the Wyatt family? You want to enlighten everyone just a little bit about what he's talking about?
Yeah, we're delving into NXT here, but one of the big tag teams that actually won the NXT tag titles, I think, a few weeks back from a British guy by the name of Adrian Neville, and I think his tag partner was injured, so Bo Dallas was in his place, substituted for, I can't remember his name, but yeah, the Wyatt family. I don't. It's got some other name, but it's Bray Wyatt. Certainly is the head of the group, who formerly is Husky Harris. But in this Bray Wyatt character, I don't know whether they showed it on NXT at some point. I can't remember. I remember seeing it somewhere. It might have been on the NXT shows as they debuted, and they were bringing him back into the FCW environment. It was very well put together, as if it's like some kind of cult. And the thing is, the other two people that are in his thing, they look like legit lumberjacks because their beards are like 4 times the size of Daniel Bryan's, which is kind of crazy in itself. But it seems like, considering how they've been suffering for years, you've got Shield, you've got Wyatt. I'm not classing 3MB because Heath Slater should just be wiped out of the company, and the other two should just be singles wrestlers because they can actually wrestle. Heath Slater lost hope, not just because he looks like a Wendy's girl, because that's got nothing to do with it. Although I just brought it up because I thought it might get some sort of kick from about 4 people somewhere in Carolina or something. But it's an intriguing thing, and it looks like tag team wrestling could be on its way back. Of course, there was the brilliant Ascension, which got paid because the guy decided to get done by the police for having drugs in his car. And it's like, is that maybe why we haven't seen Zeb Coulter and Jack Swagger?
Oh God!
Actually, no. Think about it. If you're a drugs felon, you can't go across the border. Hence why R-Truth wasn't there.
You know what? I want to make a slight correction to you. R-Truth was there. He was on the stage during the Bret Hart Appreciation ceremony. That was
Swagger there.
Swagger, yes, was there.
Wow, how did they let him off?
I'm not sure.
Normally, if you've got drug felonies, then you can't go.
Weed's not a felony; it's a misdemeanor.
In Canada?
No.
I guess then,
in the States, it's a misdemeanor.
Yeah, but in Canada, it might be different.
No, and if you're talking about his drug charges, right? Swagger's. He was caught in the States. That's a misdemeanor.
Yeah, but even then, sometimes it can affect the stuff in Canada.
Yeah, no, really?
Well, we're talking legalities.
I think because it's an active case as well, because he's still got to answer the stuff. I wasn't sure whether he'd actually be there. It might just be Montreal because they're French.
Yeah, they don't know what they're talking about.
Well, we get all Canadian on everybody, and they start to break out the maple syrup. Let's go over to Will and get his overall score and thoughts on Monday Night Raw.
Well, thanks to the promo of the Wyatt family, I'm going to change my score I said previously. I'm going to give this a 3.7 out of 5. I think the worst segment of the show was the Tons of Funk, Great Khali, 6-man tag team, squash 3MB, yada yada yada. Natalya has a birthday, great. AJ Lee screwing Big E over. That's not too much of a there. I'm not gonna go there.
Thank you.
The tag team match, I think this is finally where I think Team Hell No needs to disband. If Brian needs to do something right now, turn on Kane, be a heel. That tag team Divas match, went to sleep, didn't care. Ambrose and Kingston, I do want to bring up that little spot that Ambrose did to Kingston on the steel stairs. Holy butt shit.
Oof.
Just for the record. Yes, even you that. And Curtis Axel and John Cena, well, I'm going to give Ryback props on this one. Playing head games with Cena, Curtis Axel gets his second win. Golf clap. I don't really care. But overall, think the best match was the tag team match. Worst one, Tons of Funk match. And poor Hornswoggle. He has a lot of dry clean to do. So a final score, 3.7 out of 5.
In this instance, the
Right.
cake was not a lie.
The Bray Wyatt promo gets a rating of a sheep mask out of 5.
On that note, ladies and gentlemen, what we want to know now from you guys out there, the viewers and subscribers, your thoughts on Monday Night Raw this week. Be sure you put your comments in the comment section below. Don't forget to like and favorite this video. Rick, where can fans check you out on HWR?
If they want to find me always, I'm at my Facebook page. That's facebook.com/Hardcore Wrestling Radio. And of course, if you ever want to listen to any of my shows, they're at Spreaker.com/HWR Media.
When the SOB Andy is not here on WGS-TV or on HWR, he is a paranormal investigator belonging to Stoke Haunted. Andy, where can fans check you out on Stoke Haunted?
Yes, you can contact me or find me or look at me or I can scare you, whatever, on www.stokehaunted.com.
Poke him on Facebook.
Or you can look me up on Facebook or Twitter or Twatter or any of them other public services where you can find people with no lives.
Adult friend find.
Oh, God.
Airyhamster.com.
Oh, God. On that note, Lance, what can fans expect to see when they visit your channel over on youtube.com/LanceMonsTV?
Wrestling reviews, NASCAR reviews, music album reviews, and whatever else pops into my head.
The Instagib Master, the Bay Area MVP. Will, what you got coming up?
Tomorrow I'm going to be holding a Price is Right beatdown for all the game show freaks and fans all across the states. Don't forget Saturday. Oh, we'll lose my voice here. Saturday I will be holding the final day for Slammiversary picks for all the TNA fans who want to submit their picks in, and that's pretty much it in my schedule for the week.
Ashley, anything you want to announce here on WGS-TV? Any shows that you're doing?
All I'll say, if this video gets out and it's during the time of when we were living in the Chikara universe, this video may have never happened. So what you heard for the past God knows how many minutes may have just completely gone to crap and is stuck in a time vortex somewhere.
Or if you like Dallas, when you come out of the shower, it might all be a dream.
Also, fans, don't forget to please subscribe to youtube.com/WrestleGamer and youtube.com/ZFXTV Network. So for the Studley Man Ashley, the Illuminous One, the Shining Star, Rick Star, the SOB Andy, the Incomparable Lance Moss from Lance Moss TV, and the Bay Area MVP, known as Will, I'm the WrestleGamer, Double B Emily Boudreaux, saying thank you very much for watching. We'd also like to remind everyone that Gulf Coast Wrestling presents the Rock in the House weekend with our very special guests Ricky Morton and Robert Gibson of the Rock and Roll Express. Friday, June 28th at the Station Bar and Grill in Broussard, Louisiana. Saturday, June 29th at the KC Hall in Plaquemine, Louisiana. And Sunday, June 30th at the American Legion Hall in Abbeville, Louisiana. For more information, please call 337-251-0546 or visit gcw-gulfcoastwrestling.com.
With WWE naming their pay-per-view Payback, does that mean they're going to rename Money in the Bank to Passion of the Christ?
Stoke Haunted. Stoke Haunted. Stoke Haunted. Stoke Haunted. Spiritual meaning. Stoke Haunted. Stoke Haunted. I'm Haley Ringrose. Stoke Haunted.
My name's Andrew Weatherall.
Spiritual meaning. Stoke Haunted.